Hello, Tom the Tale Teller here. You join me once again, but this time on holiday. I'm here in sunny North Norfolk and we're going off to discover some folklore found. Here I am on this fantastic beach at Old Hunstanton. Now this is an area steeped in folklore, myth, legend and history. Old Hunstanton has a wonderful medieval church dating back to the 12th century. The history goes back long before then. My bit of folklore for you today starts with a time when this was the kingdom of East Anglia and it was ruled by the Anglo-Saxons. There was a king who came over from Germany to take up his seat of power here in Norfolk to rule over the East Anglians. His name was King Edmund. He came over when he was just 14 and he landed his ship somewhere out there. That was only the start of his story. We need to carry on walking that way up the beach and onto the cliffs. We can carry on the rest of his amazing tale. The year is 855 AD. Ethelred, the king of East Anglia, is dead. Edmund, his successor, just 14 years old, has landed on that sandbank out there, Edmund's Point, and he is about to rule a land where the people speak a whole different language. So what does he do? Although he was only 14, he was smart. He knew he had to ingratiate himself with the people of this land, and the first thing he had to do was to learn their language. And so just up here is where he did it. Here we are on the cliffs of Hunstanton, with Hunstanton that way and Old Hunstanton that way. King Edmund, this part of his story is very much debated. Now it's more than likely not true, because descending from the Woofing family of Saxonby, Germany as it is now, he didn't speak the language of the common folk here in East Anglia, so he locked himself in this. This is King Edmund's or St Edmund's Chapel, And it said that he locked himself in here and he learned all the Psalms from the Bible off by heart in the native tongue. That way he would know the language really well and be able to rule. Slight problem with that. This was built in 1275 in the 13th century. That is some 300 years plus after he came to these shores. However, it's a nice thing to think about him ingratiating himself with the locals. Whatever he did though, it seemed to have worked, because he ruled this land successfully for 14 years. But after 14 years, things started to go south. And that's where we'll pick up our next bit of the story. So I've just come over the road from the cathedral there, and I am on King's Road. This place is dripping with history and folklore, and it celebrates King Edmund and all that he did. Now, as I say, he ruled for 14 years, but during that 14 years certain events happened, and you can find out more about those events in this book here. This is a fantastic book of Norfolk Folk Tales that my dear friend and fantastic author and storyteller Dave Tonge has written. His books are available to buy now on Amazon or wherever you get your books from, and they're fantastic. He's written lots, and I thoroughly recommend you chase them up, and I want to thank Dave for helping me put this video together. He's helped me with some of the information. But after the events that take place in the story in that book, the Vikings were not best pleased with King Edmund. They were invading in two prongs, from Mercia one way and from the North Sea the other. They called King Edmund out. They called him down to Thetford Forest to fight, and where he did battle with two Viking armies. Some say King Edmund died in battle. Others say that he refused to fight and he became a martyr for the cause of East Anglia and the Anglo-Saxons, and therefore he was put to death. The Vikings, well, they filled him full of arrows like a pincushion. They pinned him to a tree and they chopped his head off. Lovely. Just the way you want to die, isn't it? But it's what happened next that really draws on folklore and belief. Important to remember that King Edmund descended from the family Woofing. Now, in German, in Anglo-Saxon, it was Woof was the name for wolf. A very important fact, that because when he was beheaded, his head was thrown into a bush and his body left. When his friends and kinsmen arrived to find his body, they couldn't find his head, and they searched all over the place, but they couldn't find anything until they heard a howl of a wolf, and they followed that howl and they found, sure enough, a young wolf there guarding his head. To commemorate this fact, that this wolf guarded the head and let only King Edmund's friends and confidants get anywhere near it, we have this. This is a beautiful wooden statue. It's here, sat on the cliff tops, overlooking the sea, howling to the sky. King Edmund's head was reunited with his body and was buried, then later reinterred in what we now know as Bury St Edmunds, and he became a patron saint for his martyrdom. He was the first patron saint of England, way before George, and so his legend now lives on here in Norfolk, in Hunstanton, through sculptures such as that, information boards such as that, the remains such as that, and all the way along this cliff top you can follow a wolf trail. And so there you have it, more folklore found here in glorious Hunstanton and Old Hunstanton. I am making my way back to where we are staying, one of our favourite holiday cottages. It's rather windswept up here on the cliff, so I'll be glad to be out of the wind. And I look forward to welcoming you back here to my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications when I upload a new video. It's St George's Day coming up soon. I'm doing a bit of storytelling in my hometown of Hinckley, and I plan to do a new video, so keep your eyes out for a new video. And it's not St George, it's a local folk tale that is very interesting, if I do say so myself. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.